Yes. I don't know if you saw the pictures that are coming out. It is so horrific that I am going to tell you I can't watch it.
Yeah.
I can't watch these pictures. I don't know if we have pictures to show or not, Jilly. If we have pictures, they're really, really, really shocking. CBP, they are plagued by overcrowding, poor resource management. Donald Trump is taking every last person who comes to the border between Mexico and the United States and who makes it across. He's putting them in jail. As a matter of fact, Attorney William Barr prohibited anybody from getting bail, and that was overturned by a federal judge today. And I can't believe that after a federal judge says it's a constitutional right to bail.
Right.
Okay? None of these people in jail, you have to remember, none of these people in jail committed a crime.
Right.
They are coming here and applying as refugees for asylum. And what do they get for applying as refugees for asylum? They get punished. But not only by being put in jail, by being put in horrific conditions and having their families and their children separated from them.
Yeah.
The purpose of an immigration detention facility is three things.
Okay.
Number one, if you are imminently deportable, meaning that you are going to be deported within a week or 5 days or 4 days, the government has a right to hold you.
Right.
As a matter of fact, the Supreme Court said up to 6 months.
Right.
But it's really, you know, the purpose is we're about to deport you in about 4, 5, 6 days. We're not going to let you out into the population and then have to track you down.
Right.
That's one reason.
Right.
Okay, that you are getting deported. Number two, you're being held and somebody has looked at your records, including an immigration judge if you have requested bail, and said you have no relief from deportation. No matter what you say in court, because of the reasons why we are deporting you, there is no relief from it whatsoever, and therefore we're not going to release you out into the population. We're going to try to deport you as quickly as possible.
Right.
Now, they still have to release the person after 6 months, even if he's an aggravated felon.
Right.
That's what the Supreme Court said. And the last reason, to hold somebody in jail, is because you believe they're not going to show up to their deportation hearing.
Right.
Those are the reasons for immigration detention. Immigration violations are civil violations, not criminal violations. And as a matter of fact, most of these people haven't broken the law. Most of them. They did enter the country without inspection, but they're applying for, that is breaking the law, but they are applying for asylum.
Right.
So now and it's a misdemeanor. It's not a felony. Anyway, now the Inspector General report found that 31% of the children in these facilities it visited were being held for a longer period of time than 72-hour maximum allowed.
Right.
Some single adults were held in standing room only conditions for a week to more than a month in overcrowded cells. Look at what they look like here.
Oh my God.
We are concerned that overcrowding and prolonged detention represent an immediate risk to the health and safety of Department of Homeland Security agents and officers, as well as to those detained. One senior manager described the situation to an inspector general as a ticking time bomb.
No kidding.
Now, a Dr. Dolly Lucio Sevier, a pediatrician who interviewed 39 children at these facilities, submitted a court declaration likening the conditions to the detention centers in torture facilities. Okay, this is the United States of America.
Right.
And this is what we're going to be celebrating tomorrow.
Right, exactly.
And this is who Donald Trump is going to have a military parade at the cost of tens and tens and tens of millions of dollars to parade military equipment down the street and then have to repair that street.
Right, of course.
And make a complete political charade while this is happening. And you're telling me you can't take that money and build another jail, hire more judges, give more humane conditions? As I was saying, a federal judge blocked Trump's policy ordering people who were in jail.
Right.
They were not allowed to get bail.
Right.
That was Trump's policy. Okay. Now they're entitled to a bail hearing.
Thank God.
As of today.
Yeah.
Okay. The purpose of jail, again, you're imminently deportable. You have no relief from deportation. We don't believe you're going to show up to your hearing. Everybody sitting in that detention facility has already passed a credible fear interview
Right.
for asylum. They have a viable claim. Most of them will show up. Some may not. Most will. There's ankle bracelets for several pennies a day you can put on somebody to track them all over the place. Don't need to house them like animals. Don't need to house them like animals. Meanwhile, Trump says in return to the federal judge, who is literally following the Constitution of the United States of
Right.
America, says the judge is in favor of open borders and is going to allow every criminal into America. No, the judge is in favor of humanity, the
Right.
Constitution of the United
There it
States,
is.
and the civil rights for individual people.
Yep.
Let's call it what it is. Meanwhile, protesters are protesting all over the United States today to close the camps. There's a hashtag that is trending on, I guess, Instagram, Facebook, all over social media, Twitter. Hashtag close the camps. There were over 185 different protests today. The protests come a day after a congressional delegation visited some of the facilities and reported migrants being held in the inhumane conditions
Of course.
that we're talking about. It was yesterday, the
Yeah.
protests, not today.
Yeah.
In addition, $4.6 billion has been approved by the U.S. government, by
Right.
Congress, to give, to help. I don't know where this money's going.
And that's the
See,
thing.
this is the problem.
Yeah.
Because it was given as $4.6 billion block grant,
Right.
block money,
Right.
like with no strings attached, that it has to be spent here, here, or here. We don't know where this $4.6 billion is being spent.
Right.
The progressive Democrats, which I am not, by the way, a progressive Democrat, I'm not in that camp, but they were right. They were putting money to health care to help these children, build more facilities
Yeah.
if you're going to detain them,
Right.
ankle bracelets, judges to process cases
Right.
faster. I don't know where this $4.6 billion is going. Meanwhile, Trump, as I said 3 days ago, and I even texted you, right?
You did.
I said after Trump lost the Supreme Court decision, and you're not allowed to put the question, are you a United States citizen, on the census form, he said, we're going to have our lawyers look into it. And I said, okay, they could look into it, but the Supreme Court says you're not allowed to put this question on. And Trump said, well, we're going to delay the census. And I said, you can't.
Right.
It's in the Constitution. You
Founding fathers.
tell your lawyers to read the Constitution.
Right.
And I said, if he had really had a plan on how he was going to not do the census, he would have come out and said it. He just said, I'm going to have lawyers look into it.
Right.
Well, it turns out that the Justice Department is now printing the census forms without that question on there.
Of course they are.
And that is the end of, are you a U.S. citizen, for the census. The census is going to go out without that question.
Something that really shocked me when I was reading this story is how precise that question was going to be. It wasn't just like, are you a U.S. citizen, yes or no? It's, are you a citizen by naturalization, by birth to U.S. citizen parents?
That's right. It was
like very. It wasn't just yes or no. It was very detailed.
It was designed to make people not fill out the census. Who are
Totally.
minorities.
Honestly, it would make me pause.
Right.
It would make me pause.
Ivanka Trump. This makes me laugh. We were supposed to do this yesterday. We didn't get to it.
Right.
Right. But this makes me laugh. She was at the G20 summit, I guess, in Japan, and she was kind of like poking her head into every conversation. And everyone on the internet is like, why are you poking your head into every conversation? You have nothing to do with the U.S. government. So earlier this,
thing.
and it was totally cringeworthy. Many people couldn't help but wonder what the president's oldest daughter, Ivanka, who had zero qualifications to be at this meeting, has absolutely no diplomatic experience,
Of course.
no foreign policy experience, why she was there in the first place, and why she was part of these very detailed meetings with heads of state.
Right.
So pretty soon the hashtag UnwantedIvanka was trending on social media with memes photoshopping the first daughter in the funniest scenes. Do we have any? There they are. There they are. Now, what
The Dust Bowl?
Is that what is that?
That's her in the Dust Bowl.
What Dust Bowl? What is
The
the
Dust Bowl during the Great Depression. Have you never seen that picture?
Okay. Oh, I guess we just have one picture. Okay.
think we have
We'll
a
move
bunch,
on.
yeah, we have a
There we
bunch,
are.
yeah.
And there she on the Titanic. on the Titanic.
That's really funny.
And what is that? That's
Iwo Jima.
Iwo Jima.
Putting up the
Right.
flag at Iwo Jima. What a great patriot she is.
And that's
Nixon and
that's
Elvis?
I can't see without my glasses
I
for
got
that
you.
far. Okay, so why don't you announce it?
Nixon and Elvis,
Yeah.
obviously, because she was there when in The Shining. Brad, you're an '80s movie.
I was
love.
scared of The Shining.
Were you really?
Yes, I
well,
was. I was.
Would you have been scared of Ivanka Trump or Jack Nicholson on
I
the
think
other side of the door?
I think if Ivanka Trump jumped out of the elevator, I'd be like, "Holy shit!"
I think so too. Oh, on Mount Rushmore, Ivanka Rushmore.
Oh my gosh,
Big fan of that.
what is that?
She becomes the 7th friend in Friends.
That's very funny. That's very funny.
The Muppet scientist Ivanka.
That's very funny.
Love this. Wow, that's fantastic.
All right.
There's the royal wedding.
And finally, there is a freak summer hailstorm that buried a Mexican city under 5 feet of ice. And by the way, if ever, there it is, if ever you don't think we have a climate crisis, besides having a human crisis at the border, a humanity crisis at the border, and a climate crisis around the world. And by the way, if Donald Trump is elected again, you can kiss Earth goodbye as we know it.
Yes.
Because we have less than 5 or 6 years to combat the climate change that is happening before it becomes irreversible. Mm-hmm. And if you think, not 20, 30, I mean, we're talking less than a decade before this becomes irreversible. And if Donald Trump is elected, ultimately, our immigration system will ultimately be fixed. A lot of people will suffer, but it eventually will be fixed because Donald Trump's not going to be president forever. You can't go back and change this.
Yep, you're absolutely right.
You can't go back and change this. There is, in the middle of the summer, not even in the middle of the winter, in the middle of the summer,
Of the summer, Brad.
450 homes pelted by hail, not in the North Pole, in Mexico.
This is insane. This is
Insanity.
like there are kids making ice angels in the middle
Insanity.
of the road. I think we have a video. Look at that. That's climate change.
Yes.
That's climate change.
Thanks for watching. For more Brad Show Live, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.